Hey, Kate, what did you eat last night?
I had an amazing broccoli leek soup.
Really?
In my Instant Pot. Yeah, totally. So, I'm obsessed with my Instant Pot pressure cooker thing. And I've never made a soup that I thought was this delicious.
Wow.
It was so unbelievably good. And I had this broccoli from that Imperfect Produce thing that we've talked about before. You guys can get information on our website about that and get a $10 discount if you want to use it for produce delivery if you live in its area. And I had this beautiful organic broccoli and some onions and a couple other things that went in it. And so it was basically just broccoli and leek. And it was the recipe involved cream, but instead I put a potato in the soup as well so that it added a creamy texture.
Nice.
Without having to add cream. And it did have Parmesan cheese in it, which is what made it so incredibly rich and delicious. But it was phenomenal, and it took like 10 minutes or something to make. And it was, I think I like leeks a lot more than I remember. And the other thing is, I used chicken stock in it that I made in that Instant Pot. And everything tastes better with that homemade chicken stock made with real chicken bones and stuff that I make. Everything is just a little bit better. So
do you think that was the key?
Terrific. I don't know if it was the key, but It was definitely a part of it for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you? What'd you have?
I had quinoa and black beans. It was really simple. I was desperate to, again, make something that I had everything in my house, pretty much everything in my house for. So it was really easy. Basically, I did onion and I did garlic in a pan with the little, oil, and I threw some ghee in there too because I thought, oh, why not? And then I basically, once that cooked a little bit, I poured the quinoa into the mixture. I covered that with water. I let it boil, and once that came to a boil, and reduced and everything, I took it off the heat, and then I just mixed in the black beans. And again, I made my own black beans. I just boiled them. I mixed in my own black beans, and then I had a thing of corn, which I added in. And this is the weird thing. I had a thing of peas, so I also threw those in because I wanted to use them up. And I had some cilantro left over and some salt and pepper. And God, it solved a lot. It was super tasty. Good couple protein sources, super fresh. And I was just so proud that I stared at my cupboard and said, Rick, you're going to make something from what you have.
Yes! It's like Chopped. It's your own little mini Chopped.
I'm probably on Chopped to Juniors.
Dude, the kids on Chopped Junior are way better chefs than me. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Oh,
yes. Way to go. Once again, like using what we have.
Thank you, right?
Hello, and welcome to another episode of You Won't Believe What I Ate Last Night. I'm Kate DeVore.
And I am Rick Fiore.
And this is our ongoing conversation about food, health, weight management, and our endeavor to be and stay healthy in a really tasty world.
With love, kindness, and compassion towards ourselves and others.
Today, we're having a very timely discussion about grilling.
Woohoo!
Barbecue, grilling. 4th of July is the #1 grilling day, so we figured we'd put something timely in. So, Rick, do you like to grill?
I would say yes overall. My enjoyment of grilling has definitely gone down because where I live, I can't have a charcoal grill anymore because that's what I used to grill on, so now I have an electric grill, and they're just not as fun. But I do grill.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Do you like to grill, Kate?
I do. I have my first grill in my condo now. It's the first time I've ever had a grill, and it's a propane gas grill. I do not have any interest in a charcoal grill. I'm all about the gas.
Yes,
so,
I get it.
Electric, I think, I don't know. Electric.
It's not the same. It's more for the effect of having fun.
Yeah.
I'm grilling. So yes, absolutely.
Totally,
Yeah.
right. But yes, I'm happy with my propane grill. And it was, oh my God, it was the hardest thing in the world to assemble. It came in. Do you remember this? It came in like 1,000 pieces. I want to say literally. It was absolutely crazy. And luckily, at the time, I was dating someone who was like, he was a technician for really high-tech lab equipment, and he would go around the country repairing people's equipment and machinery. So he was really good at putting things together. And even with his taking the helm, it was still an incredibly difficult project. And it's still not really very stable. But I like it.
I remember it was hard for you to put together. And then I also remember the drama about a grill cover. that you went through.
Oh, my Lord. I don't even remember what now, but I'm on my third grill cover, I want to say. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's really hard to find anything that would fit, and they were ripped, and they would show up all torn, and they didn't fit, and it was a weird size.
And you were just spending money, dollar after dollar, on grill covers that wouldn't work.
Oh, God. Totally. Yeah. And I have yet to bust it out this season so far. So.
Oh, hold on. Kate, Janice is here. Oh, my God.
Janice. Oh, I'm glad she bothered to show up for work today. Thanks, Janice.
Yeah, someone's going to have to deal with her. Oh, thank you. Oh, my God. Well, here's what she did.
What'd she do?
She prepared another quiz for you. Isn't that exciting? Let me tell you, these quizzes are the one thing saving Janice from the unemployment line.
That's true. Exactly. Good work, Janice.
All right. Now, Kate, this is a quiz in the spirit of grilling. Are you ready?
All right. I am ready.
All right. First question. According to Time magazine, July 4th is the biggest hot dog holiday of the year. How many hot dogs are reportedly consumed? A,
oh my gosh.
A, 155 million. B,
oh my God.
I know, right? B, 170 million. And C, 185 million.
Jeez. Presumably in the U.S.
Yeah.
On just the 4th of July.
Yeah, that's what it says. Yes, exactly. This is what's so shocking. It's the biggest hot dog holiday of the year, according to Time.
Well, I mean, how many hot dog holidays are there? But yes, I'm still stunned by that.
A, 155 million. B, 170 million. C, 185 million.
B.
Oh, it's A, 155 million.
Wow.
That's still a lot of dogs going down.
It is a lot of hot dogs, because how many million people even are there in this country?
Great question. Isn't there like 6
who
billion?
knows?
All right,
Janice?
And a side fact, but despite a nationwide love for the salty snack, no one really knows where the hot dog came from.
Although sausages are as old as time, so hot dogs are just a form of sausage, really.
Yes, it is likely that
but no one knows where the hot dog in its current form came.
It is likely that the North American hot dog comes from a widespread common European sausage brought here by butchers of several nationalities.
Well, isn't it just a way to use up odds and ends of meat?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
That's how it started. I keep wanting to think it gets better, but I still think that's where it all goes.
Well, I think the high-end ones now, they have ones that don't. But I almost never choose a hot dog.
I do love the tofu dogs, not because they're particularly flavorful, but for the nostalgic thing of actually being able to eat a hot dog when you don't eat meat.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here's your second one.
All right.
Though hot dogs, french fries, and barbecue treats are typical 4th of July fare nowadays, our founding fathers, according to legend, on July 4th, 1776, John Adams and his wife Abigail sat down for a celebratory meal with which item, Kate? A, turtle soup.
Oh, my God.
B, New England poached salmon with egg sauce. C, green peas and boiled new potatoes in their jackets. D, all of the above.
Well, it would go together as a good meal, so I'm going to go with all the above.
Very good. Ding, 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 ding. You won.
Wow. If you didn't do all of the above, I was going to guess turtle soup.
Interesting. I know, poor little turtles.
Yeah.
They said they followed the meal with Indian pudding or apple pandowdy. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, apple pan. There was some song my father used to sing, something apple pan dowdy. I don't remember it, but it was it's one of those dad things.
Hi, Dwayne.
Yeah, hi, Daddy.
All right, number 3.
Uh-huh.
A recent survey by Fortune.com asked respondents to vote on the top person, dead or alive, they would want to share a hot dog with. Who is the winner? A, George Washington. B, Thomas Jefferson. C, Abraham Lincoln. D, Betty White.
Well, I think you know who my answer is.
I think you might want to trust your instinct.
Betty White?
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome.
Isn't that funny?
Yes.
And just who sits around and comes up with that question?
Right. And a hot dog of all things.
Exactly. Okay,
excellent.
so you're two out of three so far. This is great, Kate. Really good. You're going to get a prize if you get this next one.
Awesome.
All right. Of the 56 men to sign the Declaration of Independence, how many were born in Britain? A, 4, B, 8, C, 13.
8.
Very good. Ding, ding, ding.
Yay!
Ding, ding. You win. You're on fire today.
Definitely knew that. It was definitely not a random guess at all.
It's in your DNA, Kate. That's how you knew it.
That's right. Exactly. My British
A
roots.
side fact, the Liberty Bell was cast in a British foundry. Nonetheless, the Declaration of Independence and the Liberty Bell are eternally associated with the 4th of July and all things American. Isn't that
Interesting. Right.
This might be a good time to talk about the history of grilling. Does that sound good?
Excellent.
So
Great.
I'm going to start us off here. Now, let's go back 500,000 years.
Ooh, ooh. I was trying to be a caveman. I'm not quite sure what happened.
That was good.
I was trying to provide some kind of sound effect as we traveled back in time.
All right. So basically, grilling can be identified shortly after the domestication of fire, 500,000 years ago. And this is all
Yes,
from
of
the
course.
Food Network, that we got all this, or I got all this. Okay, and it says, so basically people were just grilling over open flames, open pits. And I'm sort of going to skip a couple 100,000 years because I know we want to get to the meat here. So well into the until well into the 1940s, grilling mostly happened at campsites and picnics. After World War II, as the middle class began to move to the suburbs, that's when backyard grilling took off, which I did never really associate. It apparently became all the rage by the 1950s.
That's interesting because when you think about it, cookouts, quote unquote, cookouts and barbecues, I think of those as starting in the 50s. I don't imagine people in the 20s going, let's have a cookout somehow, but
Totally.
yeah,
Their flapper
that's
dresses would
interesting.
catch on fire. Totally.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing they wore in the 20s.
Well, yeah, and those little close hats. Exactly. Plainly. All that fringe. How could you grill with all that fringe?
It's a disaster waiting to go up in flames. Okay, and then in suburban Chicago, where you live, George Stephen, a metal worker by trade and a tinkerer by habit, had grown frustrated with the typical open flat style grills common at the time. So once he somehow inherited controlling interests of the Weber brothers, metal spinning company, a company best known as a maker of harbor buoys. He decided the buoy isn't this interesting? I know, right? It gets better.
Yes.
He decided the buoy needed some modification. He cut it along its equator, added a grate.
No.
Yes, wait. He used the top of the buoy as a lid, and then he cut vents for controlling temperature. And the Weber grill was born. And backyard cooking, they say, has never been the same.
Oh my God. So that kettle grill shape comes from a buoy.
Yes! Thank you!
Fascinating.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yes. Wow.
And it's just great.
And no one has improved upon it, apparently. Like, even whenever when I watch the food shows that do the tests, product testing and everything, and they're really good about it, like, that's always the best charcoal grill. I mean, they have fancier versions of it, but it's still just the sort of Weber kettle grill seems to be the best charcoal grill still.
Yes,
Can't
totally.
beat it.
It looks pretty still. I still like the way it looks.
I know. I do too.
Hey, did you know?
Hey, Rick, did you know that Louis XIV was recorded to eat at a single sitting, and this is in quotes what I'm about to tell you, 4 soups, a pheasant, a partridge, a plate of salad, sliced mutton with garlic, 2 lumps of ham, a plate of pastries, fruits, and preserves.
You know where my mind goes first, and he's still got all those women.
It's good to be the king.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is a lot of food. Mm-hmm. A pheasant.
2 lumps of ham is my favorite. What is a lump of ham?
When you said pheasant and the partridge, I thought a pear tree was going to come next.
Yeah, it might as well. With a plate of salad.
This little next section is barbecue that I wanted to chat about, but I know you have some Do you want to talk about the
Yeah,
difference
well,
between grilling and barbecue?
the only point I want to make is the difference between grilling and barbecue,
Good
which is
differentiation.
that grilling is fast and hot and barbecue is low and slow. So that's the difference. So I actually have only barbecued once. I made barbecued chicken. Mostly I grill.
Okay. It says barbecue goes back to the 18th century colonial America, specifically the settlements along the southeastern seaboard. The direct descendant of that original American barbecue is Eastern Carolina-style pit barbecue, which traditionally starts with the whole hog and as many as 14 hours over coals. It culminates, in this glorious sort of pulled pork thing that they create. And then it goes on to say that as settlers spread westward, regional variations developed, leaving us today with what they say are 4 distinct styles of barbecue: Carolina, Memphis, Texas, and Kansas City. Did you know there were 4?
Yeah. And there was a time at which I could have told you what characterized each of those. This is not that time. I don't remember.
Would you like me to tell you?
I would love it. Thank you.
Carolina uses a mustard sauce. Western Carolina uses a sweet vinegar and tomato sauce. It says Carolina style has split into Eastern and Western. And then it says Memphis barbecue is probably what most of us think about when we think about barbecue. Pork ribs with a sticky, sweet and sour tomato-based mopping sauce. Does that sound right? Mm-hmm. And then we have Texas. Being cattle country, has often opted for beef, usually brisket, dry rubbed, and smoked over mesquite with a tomato-based sauce served on the side, almost as an afterthought.
Oh, yeah.
And then finally, Kansas City brings us home. It lies at the crossroads of barbecue nation. Fittingly, you'll find a little bit of everything: beef and pork, ribs and shoulder, etc. What brings it all together is the sauce. Sweet, hot, tomato-based barbecue sauce is a classic. KC butter barbecue sauce is a classic in its own right, and the model for most supermarket barbecue sauces. That I thought was super interesting.
Yes, that is interesting. Sweet Baby Ray's apparently is a brand that people like of store-bought. I think that wins a lot of the taste test. According to America's Test Kitchen, which does a lot of really great testings and product reviews and ratings, and they have a really great scientific approach to it, I think, and they have a lot of people that do the test. Bullseye barbecue sauce is currently the #1 grocery store barbecue sauce brand.
Really? All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I made my own barbecue sauce once, that one time that I made barbecue chicken. And while it was delicious, I don't recall it being worth the work.
Wow.
I'm not
Is it a
sure.
lot of work?
Yeah. It was the way I made it. And of course, I think I just read a bunch of recipes and then made something up, so I couldn't recreate it even if I tried.
Oh, wow. Do you remember liking it?
I loved it.
Wow.
It was great. But I'm not sure that it was that much better than one from a jar. But is that one of those things that you have in your fridge? It's not for me. It's not one of those things I keep.
Yeah, I have it in my fridge all the time. It's something I like to use a lot, particularly when I have a salad. I like quinoa salad. If I have black beans and red onions and a little bit of avocado, it makes a really great dressing just to throw on.
Well, yes, I can see that it would. I should obviously keep some in the fridge.
And to me, barbecue sauce is sort of like a fried egg. You just throw it on something. It solves a lot of problems, particularly in the end if you make a recipe, particularly with tofu. And you do all this stuff and the tofu still hasn't picked up any of the flavor. Cover it in barbecue sauce. You'll be good to go.
Tofu, it could be necessary for sure. I think I steered away from it when I was eating a lot healthier because it's all sugar.
Completely, yeah.
So I think that might have been the issue.
That's why I love it. I love dipping my French fries in it. So, Kate, what are some of your favorite things to grill?
Well, the only meat that I really grill on a regular basis is chicken. I do love to grill chicken. And then I do mostly veggies and stuff. If anyone's looking for good grilling things, I learned an awful lot from Bobby Flay from his TV show and then a bunch of his recipes on Food Network. So he knows a lot of things about grilling.
He really does.
Really knowledgeable, and so I've learned a lot of principles from him. So any kind of potato is really great on the grill: eggplant, peppers, tomatoes, asparagus, onions. I love to do a grilled salsa where you grill all the ingredients and then blend it up as a salsa. And then I have my patented grilled salad, which I've probably talked about on here before, where I grill the romaine. If you all don't know about this, grilled romaine is amazing. You take a head of romaine and you cut it in half, and you have to clean it thoroughly and let it dry, though. You need to make sure there's no water in it. But you just cut it in half and keep the end on so it stays together, and then you just brush it with canola oil and salt and pepper, and then just a little bit of time on the grill. It just brings the smoke up all into those leaves, and it is so delicious. So you could just serve it as a wedge salad, and it's really great. But I chop it up, and I do a chopped salad with it, where I'll do grilled corn and scallions and tomatoes and chicken, and I don't remember what else I put in there. Blue cheese and a basil, and yeah, the grilled salad is like whatever you have and that you want to put in there. Almost all of it you can grill. The tomatoes, all of it.
That sounds wonderful.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. And corn, I've done a number of ways. You can leave it in the husk. You can soak the husk. You can microwave it first. You can pull the husk back and then put stuff on it and then put the husk back on. You can strip it naked. And I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ways you can do it. And I find them all to be delicious. I think it stays a little bit more tender if you leave the husk on, but I keep it on there for such a short amount of time because if it's fresh, it doesn't really need to cook very long. So I find the least messy way is I just do it naked on the grill.
Nice. I do. Grilled corn is one of my favorite things. And oddly enough, on my electric grill, when I grill corn, it's the thing that can taste the closest to being on a gas grill. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I could see that because it's just heating it up.
Yeah, it gets little grill marks too, so it's good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I love grilled sweet potato wedges with honey mustard mint dipping sauce, which is a Bobby Flay thing also, and it's just honey and mustard and mint. Broccoli is amazing on the grill. And I use this seasoning salt that I put a lot on my salads, which is from Penzeys, and it's got just salt and pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and lemon zest.
Ooh, nice.
And it's a really handy seasoning. And that on the grilled broccoli is really, really, really great. I love to do grilled pizza.
Really?
Which is almost more like a flatbread. So I usually
that makes
get
sense.
Dough from Trader Joe's. So I don't use a pre-bought pizza crust. I use pre-bought pizza dough because I don't want to make the dough. I know I could, but I don't. And I roll it out really thin, and then you get it. It's messy and complicated, and if you make it too big, which I have done in the past, it really doesn't work because it grills super quick. So because it's really thin, so you put it on the grill for like a minute or two, and then you flip it over, then you take it off and top it and put it back on, and just enough stuff to melt the toppings. You can't have anything.
Oh, interesting. I would never have known that you've had to grill the bread separately. Interesting. When I hear grilled pizza, I think, you just make it and put it on.
Yeah, no, you do the bread first. That's right. And I really love pesto on a grilled pizza crust. It's so good as the sauce instead of just tomato sauce with fresh tomato and cheese and pesto. There's another one that I love, which is grilled plantains. So
nice.
Not the starchy green plantains, but the brown mushy plantains, the sweet ones. And you grill them, and then you toss them in this sauce that's honey, orange juice, brown sugar, and cilantro of all things. Which is so incredibly, incredibly good.
You're making me so hungry.
I need to bust out the grill, clearly. My mother got me this thing to tell whether your propane tank is empty. You have to take it off, but it's like a weight.
Oh,
like
fun.
Yeah. So I have to see if I have any propane left because my propane place burned down.
Come on.
It did. It was a a drugstore.
Did you
Hardware
start
store.
to tell people how ironic that was?
Yeah, they didn't need to hear it.
God, that's a tough one. I love that thing about the weight because I've used it for my luggage before, but I never thought about using it for the propane tank, and I always wondered, like, what's the deal when you start to grill and you're out? What does one do?
Yeah, and this actually has a little gauge on it specifically for propane to tell you. It doesn't just tell you the weight; it tells you how full your tank is.
Brilliant. They really have everything nowadays.
I know, they really do. Apparently, there's ones you can put under the tank so that you don't have to take the tank off in order to assess this, which is, of course, even more convenient, but this one's fine for me. I've often debated between rubs versus marinades, and I find that marinating stuff and putting it on the grill, the flavor for me doesn't really get in there very well. So I prefer like a rub and then a sauce.
Interesting. Okay.
The most important thing about grilling chicken, never mind whether you're going to put a rub or a marinade, is to brine it. So I let it soak for a little while in salt water. and that keeps it super juicy. So I find the combination of brining with a dry rub or just even a like seasoned salt kind of thing gives me a result that I like better than the going to the trouble of marinating. And then the other way that I would say I buck tradition, and I did learn this somewhere, I didn't make it up, I think, but I think I figured it out, is that when you oil the grates of the grill, they always tell you you're supposed to clean the grill and then oil the grates. But as soon as you put oil on the grates, it burns right off, and it just makes this hideous cloud of black smoke. And it's no longer on the grill grates. And so oil the food. Oil the food, and then you don't have to oil the grill.
I love that idea. Because when I was using even a charcoal grill, I would totally oil the grill. That makes total sense.
I used to, and I was like, this doesn't work. Yeah.
Hey, did you know?
Hey, Rick, did you know that an average person will consume 12 pubic hairs in their fast food every year?
Kate DeVore. Kate DeVore. Kate DeVore. I don't need to know that.
What I want to know is, like, how much fast food does the average person consume in a year? Because I hardly eat fast food, so does that mean that someone's putting 12 pubic hairs in the one thing I eat all year?
These are the fascinating questions our podcast goes after. God.
What do you like to grill?
Oh, gosh. Pretty much a lot of the stuff you said. I definitely like to grill fish. So there's a market down here at the wharf where I live. So one of the things I love to do is simply go down and get a single or one or two pieces of fish, come up, grill it. And I like to marinate my fish more so than rubs. So I do fish. I do a lot of shrimp. I like to do a lot of skewers. So I like to put vegetables on skewers. I like to put shrimp on skewers. And then I like to put like sort of like marinades on the shrimp and on the vegetables because it's actually sort of one of the easiest things to do.
Do you use metal or wood skewers?
I use metal if you use wood, you obviously want to remember to soak those darn skewers so they don't catch on fire. Pretty much any type of vegetable. And I do, like I had said earlier, I do love a good tofu dog during the summer. So I'll usually keep some in my fridge because it's more nostalgic than everything. But the thing with tofu dogs is because they're not super flavorful, you just have to slather them up with everything and they're really good.
I bet they're good with barbecue sauce.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've never grilled a hot dog. I don't buy hot dogs, but I have bought sausages. So I have grilled sausages on there. I've never grilled a regular burger. One of my grilling fails was I make these coconut milk Thai chicken burgers. They're Thai basil coconut burgers made with ground chicken instead of beef. And they're so good, but they're so soft. They're kind of mushy that they completely fell apart and stuck because of the coconut milk. And it was a terrible idea. So those need to be done in the frying pan.
One of the big things I really love are portobello mushrooms. It's a big thing I do a lot because I love to grill them and then I can keep them around for a couple of days. And then I can really sort of then put the portobello mushrooms that I grill, I can put them on a salad later in the week. And then if I'm grilling that night, I'll usually just make a simple portobello mushroom with some onion and like some Swiss cheese. Throw it on a bun and you're good to go. Yeah.
Do you remember another fail was, I don't know if it was a fail, but do you remember I made those stuffed breakfast peppers with eggs in them on the grill one time when you were here?
Yes, totally.
And they were fine, but there was no need for them to have been grilled. And it was really, getting the egg in there was super messy.
It was crazy.
Yeah, they didn't taste grilled particularly. They would have been much better in the oven. Yeah.
Here are some other do's and don'ts that I thought were sort of interesting. Where are you on setting up zones of varying heat? It says to do set up zones of varying heat.
Yes, I have. I have two sides to my grill. So sometimes one will be on and the other will be off. Okay. And then I do have a top rack where I will put things that need less for sure.
And this is not something I encountered, this idea of zones, when I had a charcoal grill. And they say you can do that with charcoal grills also. You just have to make different little sections. So I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
If you are using a charcoal grill, it says don't skimp on the charcoal. A hot fire is crucial to grilling. Oh, and don't cut into your food to test doneness. I used to do that years ago.
Because all the juices run out, right?
Yes,
is that why?
Exactly.
Yeah. And don't mess with it. Put it on and let it stay for a minute. It will stick until it's ready to come off. So a lot of times people will put a burger on and then they'll move it around. Put it on and leave it for a little bit until it releases naturally. That's when it's ready to flip.
That's good advice. Now, how are you telling when chicken's done? If you put like a chicken breast or something on there.
Well, again,
idea?
again, a thermometer.
Really?
I've become a convert to you have to test it with a thermometer.
Okay.
And it will go from raw to dry and overcooked in like 2 seconds.
Sounds like you have some experience with that, Kate.
Yeah. Oh my Lord. And I tend to usually pound it out a little bit so it's even, so that you don't have one end that's 3 times as thick as the other end, because then
totally.
it's impossible for both of them to be perfect that way.
That's a great thing.
Yeah. So when I'm grilling regularly, I basically know how long a chicken breast is going to take. And it's been so long since I've done it, I can't remember. So, but I definitely rely on a thermometer instead of anything else to tell. So you're still poking a hole in it, but it's not quite as bad.
Totally. And I imagine, and I can't imagine things would leak out as much as they do when you completely cut them. Because I'd have to always have to cut the meat pretty thick to get down into the middle of it to make sure it was done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if you're using a charcoal grill, one of the don'ts is don't squirt water on flare-ups. It'll spray the ashes everywhere up onto your food.
Oh, good to know.
Don't skewer meats together that cook at different pace at different times. I thought that was great. And then here's the big thing that I have a lot of experience with. If you're having a barbecue and you're having people over, don't make your vegetarian friend do all the grilling.
Who would do that?
A lot of my friends. Because I am actually competent at it. So here's something I thought I'd share with you, Kate, because I know generally as a person how careless you can be all the time.
That's right.
Joking to everyone listening.
Me.
Careless Kate.
No attention to detail. Nope, not me.
So do you drink when barbecuing, Kate?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So be careful.
Oh?
Yes. Avoid a dangerous. This is the tip from this. This is from Keith Pandolfi on thisoldhouse.com. Avoid a dangerous accident in the middle of your outdoor celebration, Kate. One of the key symptoms of alcohol poisoning is a lack of response to painful stimuli. So if you see someone at the grill with their hand on the grill and they're not reacting, chances are they've had too much to drink.
Well, good thing somebody told me that, because otherwise I would have definitely never guessed that.
The other thing we really want our listeners to remember is don't get charred to death. Researchers from the University of Texas have found that eating a lot of overcooked meat increases your risk of bladder cancer. The reason? Cooking meat until it's charred can form cancer-causing chemicals. The study found that those who had diets rich in well-done meats were twice as likely to develop bladder cancer than those who prefer a little in their meat. A little red in their meat.
Yeah. So apparently this is the big thing. This is the big danger, is that the char that is so delicious apparently is indeed carcinogenic, not just to the bladder, I think, in general. And I guess there's 2 different types of cancer causing things that happen. One is something that comes from the fat dripping down onto the grill and sending that smoke up around your meat. That smoke that encases it is cancer causing. And then the char itself apparently is cancer causing. So what they've not been clear on is the quantity of said char that is necessary to be actually harmful.
It always goes down to the quantity, doesn't it?
So I think all of us are being like, well, I'm sure I'd have to eat way more of it than I actually eat for it to be cancer causing. But we don't really know that. We don't. I know. One of the other pluses is it's often a low-fat way to cook meat. If you're going to cook meat, because a lot of that fat just drips right out of it. So if it's a fatty meat, it'll cook out. And it, of course, brings all that delicious smoky flavor. Here's an accident to be careful of. This is my one fun fact.
Yes.
You might have this on there, too. But 130 people each year have to go to the ER because they accidentally swallowed a bristle from a wire grill brush.
I did not have that fact, Kate.
Well, good. I'm glad I put it in.
That's a tough swallow.
So watch out, people. Yeah.
And Kate, it's really important that those of our friends that use charcoal grills don't get bricketed to death.
Oh, no.
Who thought? But using charcoal to cook your grillables is pretty safe. It's when you do lame brain things like burn it inside, say in your garage or on a rainy day. Thanks to the carbon monoxide that charcoal gives off while it's burning, about 400 of us are sent to the emergency room each year after grilling within closed confines, leading to about 20 deaths. Who knew?
What is that Darwinian thing they always talk about, like the Darwin Awards?
I don't know.
It's unkind. The idea is it's the survival of the fittest, and someone who's foolish enough to do that kind of, it's natural selection. It's the implication there. Yeah.
32% of grill fires occur on patios, terraces, and screened-in porches.
Yeah.
I have one or two more, but this is the big one I really wanted to make sure you knew about, is that you want to make sure when you grill, Kate, you don't wear your Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, no, why?
Don't let that palm tree printed shirt you're donning turn into a tropical forest fire. Loose clothing can blow or billow right into your grill fire, making a pleasant backyard barbecue memorable for all the wrong reasons. So apparently there's a lot of people that wear very loose clothing, a lot of flowy clothing when they're around the grill. We hope you go forth and have a wonderful, wonderful, and safe grilling season.
Exactly. And in the meanwhile, please subscribe to our podcast and rate and review us.
Thanks for listening.